Chapter 17 The Pitcher at the Gates of Dawn. Defeating a team of giants, even when temporarily the same size, is a difficult thing. The giants were used to being big, dumb, and slow. The Cyclones were not. Besides, if there was one thing every storybook and Ever After knew, it was that the smallest of heroes could take down the biggest of giants, if they were clever. And the Cyclones, when in their right, normal-sized minds, were clever. Halfway through their turn at bat, the effects of the eat me crumbs wore off, and the Cyclones shrank back down to regular size, turning the tables on the Giants. When the Giants beat teams who could not pitch up to them, it was now equally impossible for them to pitch down to the Cyclones. Unable to throw anywhere near the strike zone, the Giants walked batter after batter until finally 38 straight walks, and 35 runs later, the Cyclones won by the mercy rule. Dorothy, unable to score, had tactfully withdrawn by claiming injury so as not to clog the base paths. The game might not have been the most exciting one its 25,000 booming spectators had ever seen, but the Cyclones were not in the business of entertaining people. They were in the business of winning, and with their victory, they were 3 games away from winning the whole tournament. Dorothy's fake injury, however, proved to be not so fake, which she revealed to the Cyclones before their next game. A tournament's worth of pitching complete games, plus the added stress of throwing 300 miles an hour as a giant, had left her with a dead arm that would need at least a game's rest, perhaps more. Which means I can't pitch, she told them, so who's going to do it? There were blank stares all around. Come on, somebody has to be able to pitch. I thought somebody was on first, said Jack. Oh, let's not start that again, Alex moaned. Brer Rabbit, Scraps, Pinkerton? They all shook their heads. Nanny May? The only thing I know how to pitch is grenades, dear. Toad, what about you? Does it mean I get to drive the bullpen car? The one they have here is shaped like a baseball, you know. Poop, 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 he said, imitating the sound of a motor car. Dorothy threw up her hands. Okay, Alex, you have to pitch. What? No, I've never pitched before. I'll get destroyed. Dorothy leveled a do we really have to have this conversation look at him. Alex, you know you can. You're the best player on the team. You were born to be a baseball star. It's who you are. What about TikTok? Alex asked. You can be programmed to throw the ball any distance, right? Of course, the machine man said. There you go. TikTok will be pitcher. I'll play catcher. And Dorothy, you can move to first, since there's less throwing to do there. Dorothy didn't like it, but short of ordering Alex to pitch, there was nothing she could do. The necessary adjustments were easily made to TikTok, but Alex had to borrow a set of catcher's gear from the other team, Pinocchio's puppets, because TikTok never wore any. Alex was trying on a shin guard when he caught himself scratching an itch. Was it the itch or just an itch? You all right? Scraps asked, sneaking up on him again. Yeah, Alex said, trying to hide that he'd been scratching. No, he confessed. No, I'm not. Scraps, where did I go when I was out? After I hit the ground? Scraps shrugged. You went away. But where? I could still dream, Scraps. I dreamed I was in the hospital, that my mother was there, that I was sick, dying. It felt real. Maybe it was, Scraps told him. I don't know. I'm a storybook. The only other me is on paper. Alex scratched at his elbow when Scraps wasn't looking. Scraps, what happens when you die? I mean, for good. Like Button Bright, where do you go? Oh, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about baseball. Scraps, please. She sighed. I don't think storybooks or larks go anywhere when people stop believing in them. I think we just aren't. We were all just make-believe to begin with. Alex stared at the shin guard in his hand. Scraps nudged him. Hey, I ever tell you about the boy I knew who was always worried about when it was all going to be over, he forgot to have fun while it lasted? Oh, yeah. Scraps gave him a playful punch on the arm and cartwheeled away, and Alex went to stand with Dorothy at the dugout railing. You okay? Dorothy asked. Alex shrugged. You? I'm better. You were right, though. I kind of gave up for a little while there. Alex nodded at the other team as they took the field. They're all boys and girls, he said, doing everything he could not to scratch his arm. I mean, with a name like Pinocchio's puppets, I thought they'd all be, wooden or something. No, you're right. I know who they are now. They're characters from baseball books. Dorothy smacked the dugout rail. They're ringers. Pinocchio stacked his team with aces this year. The rest of the Cyclones came to the rail to see. That one there, he's the boy who saved baseball, Scraps said. And over there is the boy who only hits homers. And I know the shortstop, Brer Rabbit said. He's a samurai. And that boy there, he's got himself a bat carved from the world tree. I'm afraid we've got our work cut out for us today, fellows, said Toad. We'll win, though, right? Jack asked. You gotta believe, right, Alex? Alex was scratching at his neck, and he dropped his hand and he tried to look interested. Yeah, absolutely. But no amount of believing helped the Cyclones score a run in the first, and no amount of believing turned Tick-Tock from a pitching machine into a Cy Young winner. Everything he was thrown was driven into the outfield for a hit. After the machine man gave up a 3-home run without getting any outs, Dorothy called a meeting on the mound. No offense, Tick-Tock, she told him, but this isn't working. I am not programmed to take offense. Alex, you have to pitch, Dorothy said. I told you I can't. I've never pitched before in my life. Alex, you're a lark who only knows baseball, and you know it. It doesn't matter that your dreamer's never pitched. In his dreams, he's the best baseball player ever. He can do anything on a baseball field. I'm not, Alex started to say, but he knew he couldn't argue with her. I'm not comfortable with this, he told her. Get comfortable, she said. She put the ball in his glove. Alex, we need this. Alex scratched his arm as the Cyclones went back to their positions, Tick-Tock taking up his usual place as catcher. How was he supposed to just know how to pitch? Pitching was an art. It was like painting. You didn't just pick up a paintbrush for the first time and paint a masterpiece. Batter up, the ump cried, and a new boy stood in. Alex got his sign, reared back, and aimed for Tick-Tock's glove. A swing and a miss. Strike one. The Cyclones clapped and shouted encouragement behind him, but getting a strike just made Alex feel worse. He shouldn't be able to pitch. His second pitch didn't make him feel any better. Another strike. Come on, Alex, Dorothy called from first. Strike him out. Alex wanted to be the hero and help his team, but he almost wished he couldn't strike the boy out. Maybe if the boy got a hit, it would mean Alex had been right all along. Alex went to his windup, pitched, crack. The batter hit the ball back, and over the wall for a home run. Yes! The home run put the Cyclones down by 4 runs, but Alex pumped his fists like he'd won the game. He wasn't some real boy's dream of a perfect baseball player after all. Shake it off, Dorothy told him. That's the kid who only hits home runs. He's almost impossible to get out. Alex's heart sank, and it kept sinking as he struck out the next 3 batters in a row without even trying. Alex hit first the next inning, and he stood in and waited for the first pitch. He considered all of the evidence. His baseball skills, the dreams, his inability to wake up, his death and rebirth, the itch. There was no denying it anymore. He was a lark. The pitcher, a girl who threw knuckleballs, floated strike 1 over the plate. Come on, Alex, Dorothy called from the dugout. Wake up out there. That's what Alex had been trying to do since he first appeared in Ever After. Wake up. But now he knew for sure that he would never wake up. He was the dream. To prove it, Alex closed his eyes as the girl went into her windup. He waited, his eyes still closed, then swung. Crack. Alex opened his eyes to see the ball leaping away from him, high up over the second baseman, over the center fielder, and out over the wall, where it disappeared into the seats. Run, dummy, Brer Rabbit called. You hit a home run. Alex circled the bases in a daze, and when he finally came back to where he started, he put his foot on home plate and wondered if that wasn't the only home run he'd ever had. With Alex's amazing hitting and pitching, the Cyclones clawed their way back into the game, despite Toad having easily the worst game Alex had ever seen him play. Always a poor batter, but usually fleet of foot and sure-handed in the field. The amphibian missed balls he had once easily run down and overthrown Dorothy at first 5 times in 5 innings. What is going on with you today? Dorothy asked Toad as he went back to the dugout. Down another run thanks to another of his throwing errors. Oh, there's nothing to be done. Nothing, Toad said. I'll be better presently. Don't be unduly anxious. I hate being such a burden to my friends, and I do not expect to be one much longer. Though he apologized profusely all game long, Toad didn't appear to be sick or injured, smiling and bouncing happily on the bench and in the field as the innings rolled by. Alex, meanwhile, single-handedly kept the Cyclones in the game. He was the boy who only hit homers and the boy who only threw strikes, the boy who caught balls with his eyes closed and ran faster than any real boy ever could run. He was the golden boy. He was magic. He was the greatest baseball player anyone had ever seen, because that was the dream some sick boy in the real world was clinging to. But Pinocchio's puppets were impossibly good too, all but Pinocchio himself. He was wooden and stiff at the plate and a tangle of strings in the outfield. And by the seventh inning, the Cyclones were down by 2 runs. Toad was due up first, but he was nowhere to be found. Where the devil could he have gone to? Dorothy asked. Brer Rabbit, check the stands. Maybe he's up there handing out those dang Vote Toad cards. Brer Rabbit never got a chance. The audience went crazy, laughing and cheering about something on the field, and the Cyclones ran to the rail to see the stadium's bullpen car, a golf cart shaped like a giant baseball, careening out of the padded door in the center field with Toad at the wheel. Make way, Toad cried, scattering Pinocchio's team. The golf cart tipped as Toad swung it hard to the left, chewing up the outfield grass, then right as it barreled towards the field exit behind home plate. Toodaloo, friends, I'm off to explore the farthest reaches of ever after and beyond. It's a classic tale, a humble toad, the wide open road, and a baseball-shaped golf cart. Don't come looking for me. I shall be cruising from town to town, finding odd jobs, fighting injustice, falling in love. Toad, no, Dorothy cried as the golf cart swerved for the exit. Crash. The molded plastic baseball was too tall for the exit. The golf cart smashed into the roof of the doorway, and Toad went flying, tumbling to a stop on the cement ramp that led up and out of the stadium. Both teams ran over to see if Toad was all right, and Alex followed along slowly, lost in his own thoughts and scratching at his itchy arms. Toad lay deathly still for a moment, then his eyes popped open and he sat up grinning. What a thrill! I've never driven a baseball before, you know. That's the truth, said Brer Rabbit. Toad, where did you get the key to the bullpen car? Dorothy demanded. They know better than to leave it lying around when you come to town. Toad looked sheepish. Oh, well, the key was given to me as a gift. Yes, that's it. Mystery solved. Dorothy folded her arms and waited. Toad went on his knees and wailed, Oh, have pity on poor Toad. I'm weak, I admit it. Foolish, pathetic, a slave to my own desires. I need professional help, motor car rehab, Freudian analysis, driver education. Well, he certainly apologized like a politician, one of the puppets said. Toad, Dorothy warned. The shortstop saw there was no way out but to tell the truth. He told me if I played awfully, he would give it to me, Toad said quickly. Just strike once or twice, boot a ball here or there. You took a bribe to throw the game? Dorothy cried. Oh, I am fate's plaything, Toad cried, the victim of a vast conspiracy, a minor pawn in some nefarious game. Well, not so minor, perhaps. A knight or a bishop, maybe. Toad, Dorothy said, who bribed you? He did, Toad said. He pointed a webbed finger at Pinocchio, who just had started to slip away. Pinocchio's wooden legs clattered as he broke into a run, but Pinkerton took to the air and pounced on him before he could escape. The players from both teams gathered around. You bribed him? One of Pinocchio's own players asked. I wanted to win so badly, the puppet wailed. Well, that's it then, said the samurai shortstop. Honor dictates. We forfeit. What? Pinocchio cried, but his players were already taking off their yellow and red puppet hats and tossing them on the ground. No, 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 no. I put together the best baseball team in this tournament has ever seen. The best team anyone has ever seen. Better than the 1937 Hobbiton Hobbits. Better than the 1894 Jungle Book team. Better than the 1904 Lost Boys. Come back. We can go all the way. We can beat the Reapers. But Pinocchio's teammates did not come back, and the umpires were forced to call the game in the Cyclones' favor. Both teams wandered back to their dugouts as the crowd filed out of the stadium, leaving only Alex and Pinocchio together on the field. I was so close, Pinocchio sobbed. Now I'll never be a real boy. Alex scratched at his neck. You were going to use your wish to become real? Of course, that's all I've ever wanted since I first got here. But nobody ever imagines me as a real boy. I'm always a stupid wooden puppet. And the wizard can do that? He can make you real? The wizard can do anything, but he's not going to do anything for me now. Pinocchio kicked at the infield dirt as he clattered away, but Alex, feeling better already, if the wizard could turn a wooden puppet into a real boy, maybe he could turn a daydream into one too.